Welcome to the Weekly Juice Podcast, where we discuss all things real estate, personal finance, investing, entrepreneurship, and the many ways to achieve financial independence. We interview accomplished investors and entrepreneurs with the goal that their stories inspire you to take control of your financial future. Here to get your creative juices flowing while also documenting their own personal investing journeys are your hosts, Corey Jacobson and Ryan Bevilacqua.
Welcome back to the Weekly Juice. As always, it's your boys Ryan and Corey here with another episode for you. Today we had a bit of an unconventional episode, but it was an awesome one. We brought on the show Jason Wojo. You guys have probably seen him or his ads on Instagram. He's at the Jason Wojo. He basically is the go-to guy these days, it seems like, for paid ads. He actually runs funnels and ads for a bunch of the, real estate investors that we aspire to be one day.
Ryan Pineda, Chris Crone, Camille Damji, Pace Morby, and like anybody that follows us probably sees their stuff that's 10 times bigger. But he's a character. I really liked talking to him. And if you go on his Instagram, you'll see some like controversial, like brash stuff that he says. But I really wanted to kind of peel back the layers, see if he was really like that. And he was brash, you know, he was very willing to give us the formula of like how his business worked. He's built a 8-figure business. He's 26 years old. Like the proof is in what he's done, he's talking about McLarens and the cars and stuff, but it's all real. He's not bullshitting.
He gave us his story, and actually it was one of the highlights for me. And it sounds weird that it was a highlight, but how real he brought it to current day. And he's like, dude, he says, the blessing and a curse. I made more money than I ever thought at the age of 26. Now I don't know what to do with myself. And he meant, like, candidly, he's like, I got to go find a whole girlfriend and a wife.
He mentioned that. And also just that, like, he's like, I've sacrificed those relationships to get to where he is. And he's like, I don't know if he was saying it was the best route. Like, he obviously is enjoying his life. But he's like, I grinded for all these years. And like, at this point where I'm like, what do I do? So I thought it's a conversation that I feel like you want to hear as an aspiring entrepreneur, because it gives you real perspective on what it's actually like. And that's what we try to do on our show. Like, what is this shit actually like? And he's clearly killing it in business. And by the way, some of the advice is really, really good advice too. So if you're trying to grow your business, like it's top level.
Yeah. If you've listened to our show over the years, you've kind of known that Corey and I, like, this is kind of what we need to add into our business. We keep putting it out into the universe. And so we decided to bring someone on the show that's an expert in the field. And we're like, dude, like, how do you build funnels? When do you put the ads in? Like, what are low ticket to high ticket items? Like, just explain marketing in 2024 to us. And that's what he did. He talked about the pros and cons of hiring a marketing agency versus going like one-on-one. So some really interesting things behind the ads you see. Yeah. And that's what I really like to finally get to. You get the mad scientist behind the whole.
Hey, I thought a lot of it was cool because he's talking about, like, when should you leave your job? He's like, he was a big advocate for like staying with your job and making sure you have enough money before you leave and not going all in entrepreneurship. And it's not all it's cracked up to be. But I really enjoyed his Jason and the time he gave us. And I think he's something that we could potentially use. So that's why you can kind of hear it in our voices as we go through.
Yep. So without further ado, let's bring in Jason. When you have investment properties and tenants, you need a good system in place for collecting rent to make it easy as possible. And RentRedi can help you with everything. When you sign up for RentRedi, you can start adding your properties, inviting tenants, and creating charges. You can even set up automatic rent reminders and create auto late fees as well. For tenants, they can pay via ACH, card, or even cash using RentRedi's web and mobile apps. They can also use an automatic payment setup and sign up for rent reporting so they get rewarded for paying rent on time. RentRedi saves you time and hassle by automating rent collection, and you can manage everything from one dashboard. For our Weekly Juice listeners, RentRedi's given us a special 50% off for any RentRedi plan using our code WeeklyJuice at rentredi.com. That's RentRedi.com using the code WeeklyJuice. That's WeeklyJuice to save 50% off any RentRedi plan. Jason, officially welcome to the show. Corey and I are so excited to have you on, man. We found you on Instagram, as I'm sure many other people have these days. You're blowing up, doing a lot of, I think anyone in the industry, in multiple industries, probably have found you who are looking to build a funnel or use paid ads. So we're hoping we have the master on today to give us a peek behind the curtain. So thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, bro, of course. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, take us maybe back to the beginning. I'm so curious your story on kind of how you got to where you are today. You don't have to go super long into it, but maybe where you started from and how you kind of got into the marketing space.
Yeah. So I was in culinary school. I was bored of cooking because I was working at a restaurant when I was a kid in high school. And I was like, hey, I might as well go to culinary school because I know how to do this. So I went to culinary school. It was really like crappy weather in New York, so it would always be snowing. And one day I had to go in the back. I had to grab like this warmer for the front of my car because I had a Ford Focus. And like when it was -5 degrees outside, it's really bad for the car. And then I grabbed the shovel too. And then I found this box like behind all this junk in the back trunk. And it was like a shoe box and it had a bunch of Pokemon cards in it. And I was curious because I was like really bored college kid. So I brought it upstairs. I lived off campus at the time. So I brought it upstairs and I started like searching the cards up on eBay and I started seeing that they were worth like $7-8 each. Now, I know that's not a lot for some people watching, but when you're a college kid making, $200 a month, it's a lot of money. So I took the cards and I was flipping them and I started learning a lot about like eBay arbitrage. And I started the basic flipping Pokemon cards. And I got bored of college, dropped out first year, then went back home to live with my parents and I went to business school instead. And while I was doing this, I found Ty Lopez's ad about the SMMA, social media marketing agency, and I bought it for $9.97, dove into it, started pitching local businesses in my area for $200 a month, $300 a month, just to post them on Instagram and Facebook, like make custom images, go into their storefront, take videos. And that's what I was doing for about a year and a half. I got about 10 to 15 clients. I saved some money. And then I basically was still playing college tennis. I know I'm going really quick here. So I was playing college tennis in business school. And then while I was playing tennis, I had 3 jobs. So I worked at Staples, a financial firm, and a life insurance company as like an assistant. I wasn't selling insurance. And then I stacked even more money, saved a lot. Then once college was over, my dad was about to kick me out because he wanted rent. And I was like, I don't want to pay you rent. I might as well just move out. So he wanted $600 a month. And I was like, all right, if I'm going to pay $600 a month, I'll pay a little bit more and I'll live somewhere where it's nicer. So I moved to Orlando, Florida. And that was back about 5.5, 6 years ago. I was living in a college dorm, like not a college dorm, but like a college house, like in the corner of a college house. It was like $750 a month. It was so cool. I got to meet some cool friends. I actually became way more sociable when I started when I moved, and I started to grow into the person I am now. And then like, because I moved down, I had no other options. Like I had no friends. So I just had to work on my business all day. So I was kind of isolated in my room all day, and like I scaled pretty quickly. Like literally went from I think 3,000 a month to 100K a month within 9 months. And I was just in my room bored as hell. So I just worked all day, and then I just kept grinding, brand building, posting, podcasts, all that fun jazz. And then now we're here.
All right. So we skipped a lot in between, but I'm really curious about that jump that you made from 3,000 to 100,000. But even before that, I'm curious, like what sparked the marketing, like idea in your head? Because you need just because you need a fire in order to grow that much, right? Like what was it about it? I'm curious.
Yeah, so I was going quick there, but basically there was a client that I had junior year of college, and it was this clothing brand called Hustle Island, and they made these T-shirts. They had like hustle, patience, and legacy on them, and we did free plus shipping offers. If anybody was back 5-6 years ago in the marketing world, you know that free plus shipping offers were huge, and it was easy to profit on them because ad spend costs were so low. So I was running this free plus shipping offer for Greg, and we were just like crushing it on the front end. We got about 21,000 buyers in 11 months. He wound up selling it and stopped it. But during that period, like I was learning about influencer ads. I was learning about video, copy, funnels, upsells, downsells, active campaign with emails, organic Facebook groups, all that. Like he just threw me into the jungle basically. I had to figure it out. And we were spending about $2,000 a day on Facebook. So I learned a lot during that period of time. And those 11 months straight was just a grind. And that's where I learned a lot of stuff that I know now. Now, obviously, the marketing world has evolved to where you can't really run free plus shipping offers that well anymore unless you're really good at marketing and you understand copy, storytelling, infatuations, like why the back end numbers matter so much. But that's what really gave me like the marketing sense. If I didn't have that gig with Hustle Island, I probably wouldn't be that far right now. So like being able to spend $2,000 a day for 11 months straight and do emails and funnels and see conversion rates and see all those things, like opened my eyes out a ton. So like most people would take 4 or 5 years doing that in the field, spending $100 a day. I was able to ramp it up in like 11 months and learn like a crap ton really quick. So that was kind of it was a massive advantage for me. And I still talk to Greg to this very day. We're very good friends. But yeah,
that's awesome. So let's break down. You're known as like the paid ads guy. I mean, I don't know if that's intentional or not, but when I go on your Instagram page, that's like who you've become, right? So I'm curious, maybe if you want to like give us the dumbed down version of exactly how paid ads work, because I think that people that are listening might resonate with the story once they understand. Like I understand it, but I'm like, okay, you're talking about going from a low ticket item to a higher ticket item, getting people into your system, right? So just talk about like how paid ads kind of work within the business realm that you've experienced.
Yeah, so this is probably one of my like favorite rants to go on. So just to kind of pre-frame, like if you're wondering what paid ads are, really all I'm doing is I'm taking an offer that a business has and I'm pumping it with paid traffic. I'm paying for traffic on like social media platforms. I'm getting more traffic, I'm getting more leads, getting more opt-ins, getting more sales calls, and I'm doing it predictably. And I state it that way because a lot of people who are running their business organically right now, they're so focused on like the fear and stress of wondering where their next client or customer is coming from. Like they can't press a button in Ads Manager and be like, hey, I'm going to wake up to 4 calls tomorrow. Like in where we're at in our business right now, like we have 52 team members. We have 52 employees. We have 5 sales reps. We do over 10 million a year. Like if I had to sit there and wait for new leads and calls to come in, I would shoot myself. Like I want to be able to wake up in the morning and know that my sales guys are going to have 55 to 60 calls every single day. And that's how you predictably scale. A lot of business owners can't scale through economic downturns and even scale during upturns because they don't have predictability. There's no consistency. 1 month, you might make 10 grand a month. Second month, it's 31. Then next month, 7. Like it's all over the damn place. There's no consistency, which doesn't allow you to scale and use money to pump into payroll and obviously more KPI-driven ways. So like what we primarily focus on is a couple things. We work with coaches, consultants, service providers, and e-com stores. And, e-com's a whole different space, but like with the coaches, consultants, service providers, we're mostly building like what we call a self-liquidating funnel. It's something that we can sell on the front end for like $10, $17, 27, 37, 47, something that will pay for the ad spend so that I'm getting free leads. And like some of the biggest people in the space, you see all their photos and videos on like Instagram of them traveling in like nice cars. What you don't realize is that they're able to do that because they're using all of their Amex points that they're getting from ad spend, and they're literally living for free. So like all the biggest people that you see in the space, like Grant Cardone and all these guys, like they don't just drive those cars because they want to spend money on them. It's because they're free. For the longest time, dude, people would always criticize me online because like I had a Bentley and a McLaren and they thought they were rented all the time. And I'm like, dude, if they're $3,000, $4,000 a month, if I'm spending like 400 grand a month that I usually spend in ads, the cars are free. And you don't realize that because you don't run paid traffic. Like I can just take my Amex points and send it as cash and I pay for the car every month. They're free. People don't realize
Which
that.
in turn then helps get more leads and more customers because people are like, I want the lifestyle that Jason has, right? It's like a kind of like a revolving door.
Yeah. And like it's something where also it's self-liquidating. So it's not just for like lifestyle and like expenses, it's also for the fact that I can turn on my ad spend. And even if I spend, let's say I spend $1,000 a day, and I self-liquidate 800 of it. Let's say I'm not break even on the front end. It doesn't matter because I still got $1,000 worth of ad spend for $200. Like even if you get a 0.5 ROAS, you're still chilling. Most people run ads to a lead funnel or a book call, and they have to wait till tomorrow to make the money because the calls are tomorrow or they're in a couple of hours. With low ticket digital product funnels, I can self-liquidate on the front end, and I'm getting buyers on my email list. And there's something that Greg always said to me when I was first starting out. And this happened the other day at one of our events. We run events too for business owners, and we teach them pay traffic, and we do one event a week. We're on a tour right now. So I'm doing one event a week. I just got back from Orlando a couple hours ago. And we do one event a week in different cities, and we get about 100 business owners in a room. We teach them about paid ads, and then we pitch them on a service. And like the biggest thing I've always learned with people is that people don't vote with their mouths. They don't vote with their actions. They vote with their credit cards. And like, I can't tell you enough how many times people have told me, like we had a guy at our Orlando event and he was like, yeah, I'm going to sign up. Like, I'm going to come to lunch with you guys because we give them that as a perk. We buy them lunch if they buy a package, right? And then we do an intimate setting on day 3, which is today, where we film their creatives in person. Like we do it next day. We rent a big ass Airbnb mansion. We film their creatives in person and we get them fast launched and like activated in the ecosystem. And we took this guy's word. We're like, all right, man, come to lunch. Like, I don't care. It's $30, whatever. he winds up getting free food, doesn't pay. So it's like, I don't trust people's words or actions. I only trust when I get a notification on my phone that says you received a payment from X for X amount of money. I don't take nobody's word for shit. So it's something that I had to learn over the space, because so many people too, like you probably had this where you had friends who were like, yo, I'm going to have a friend reach out to you. He can send you deals. You've probably had this happen. Or I have this friend that I want to put you in touch with. He does real estate too. You know what's funny about all that is that we don't do that anymore, like refer, like affiliate stuff with people who don't pay an initiation fee. So let's say you are a coach or consultant and you want to send your clients to us. A lot of people will always say, yeah, we'll send them to you. Like, just let us know how to send them to you. They don't, because they didn't pay anything. So now we charge a $3,000 initiation fee, and everyone just completely runs away now because they're scared to pay an invoice. Hence why the quote on my Instagram is like,
yeah, I saw that.
The invoice comes. Like, dude, I've just, throughout taking probably 16,000 sales calls in my life, I can't stress enough, like, not one of how good we are at paid ads, but number two is how full of shit people are. And it's just something where, like, paid traffic exposes that, though. The same way that you're exposing consumers is the same way that you're exposing your own business to problems. And that's the second piece of this, which is when you're running paid traffic, what people don't get is that you're exposing the real problems in your business. Like, people run paid ads with this one intention of running traffic, making money, getting sales, getting leads, getting book calls. What they don't realize is that if it's done efficiently and you keep spending more money, you're actually going to find new problems, which is leadership, personnel, systems, processes, ascension, your AOV, all these numbers in the business that actually drive revenue, that expose new issues. And that's why most people are afraid to run ads, because they're actually afraid to realize how shit their business is because they only ran it organically. So it's like, it also forces you to not be so recession proof. Like, that's the big rant that I go on, because when I talk about paid traffic, it is literally just the most stupid no-brainer thing anybody should be doing. But it's the belief in spending the money that matters.
Well, okay, that was exactly where I was going to go with this, because let's say there's business owners that are trying to get their shit off the ground. They're trying to grow their business. From the entrepreneur perspective, they think, I got a penny pinch. Like, I can't go and spend all this money on things because I don't know what I'm going to get in return. My question for you is, do you have the approach like, look, you should be spending all of your extra money on paid ads? And I know you can say that because you're the guy who does the paid ads, but I'm genuinely curious from a marketing perspective, like, where does the new business owner, the startup person, put their money, and how do they know how much they should allocate towards it? Because if their business is solid and they have a good product on the back end, kind of what you're saying is they should be spending as much as they possibly can on this.
Yeah. So this is actually an interesting point of view, because it actually conflicts. That is, like, entrepreneurship has been put on a pedestal for years. It's this thing that people put in their bio to make themselves look cool and feel cool. It's like, hey, I'm an entrepreneur. Here's the thing that I honestly believe you should do. If you are trying to get a business off the ground and you quit your job for it, go get a job. Like, people put themselves in these stupid situations where they're giving people their last amount of money left, and it's why they're not successful, because they're impatient as shit. So, like, we've had people come to us and they're like, oh, I have $4,000. What can I do with it? I'm like, honestly, we can just wipe your ass with it, because it's not enough money. Like, go get a job. Like, go get a job and save money and then allocate it into the business. Like, if you're at a job right now and you're making $3,000 a month, let's say $4,000 a month, and you say to me, oh, I'm going to quit my job because I need to go all in on my business. Actually, don't do that shit. Don't be an idiot. Okay. Take the $3,000 a month and make the $36,000 a year. Spend 60% of it on your expenses. Take the $1,200 bucks a month and invest that into your business and keep your job, because eventually you got to turn your 7 to 11 p.m. hustle into your 9 to 5. Like, it's all this entrepreneurship on the internet that makes it like this thing where, oh, if you quit your job, you're a badass, but you're actually an idiot. So it's just like, that's where things get out of, like, context.
I wasn't sure where you were going to go with that, because just the way that, I've looked at a lot of your videos on social media, and I feel like people think that you have this, like, brash mentality, but I'm glad I'm talking to you, because it's really smart what you're saying. Like, it's not, it's fun. Ryan and I are in a position where could have went all in on our business probably 2-3 years ago, right? We've kept our jobs, but we feel like we're in a position now where it's like, it's such a safer move within the next couple of years. And we have all these other investments coming in. We've built this sort of, like, thing that's working on the side. So I love that perspective, especially from someone who is doing as well as you are, because you're right, man. If you look at somebody's Instagram and you think that like life is just easy on that entrepreneurial venture, like you got another thing coming, man. It's really, it's a lot harder than I think a lot of people make it look.
And like also you're taking an employee mindset and throwing it into the world of like freedom, I guess you can call it. And like, dude, people don't know how to act. So like you take a person who is so used to being told what to do to now creating their own decisions. There's a lot of friction. And it's like, how are you going to force somebody to think that way? And also their employee like tendencies rear over, which is like, there's a lot of scarcity. There's not a lot of urgency because you could do something on Friday and your boss is like, yeah, we'll just do it on Monday. Or like, yeah, we'll just handle it on Monday. And it's like, dude, you're getting told to be lazier and stupider. So like, it's just the simple things that will then translate over to being a business owner. Also, man, like what you guys did is really smart. Like I condone that. And also it's a lot easier to go to sleep at night knowing that you're not financially burdened to anything. Like if you're working a job and you know, you got like 50 grand in the bank, 75 grand in the bank, maybe more, like, dude, you're chilling. Like, you're not stressed every damn week. You're not like, oh my God, like I got to pay for my car next week. Like we're fucked. Like that's not what you're thinking about. You're thinking about, hey, like I get to go away this weekend with my girlfriend for 2 days and I don't have to care about what's in my bank account. Like I can actually relax this weekend and I can take a deep breath and I'm not stressed about life. And most people who do that, they put their back against the wall and they can't make clear decisions because they're not like number-based decisions. They're emotional ones. And dude, like people who are emotional never get what they want because they're always either, you know, helping other people be a people pleaser or they don't even know how to please themselves because they don't have the mindset to go all in on themselves. So it's like this just, it's a lot of friction.
Yeah, I'll let Rye jump in here too because I'm sure he has some things. But going off what you said, how did you know that it was time for you to go all in?
That's a good question. I think what I decided.
It sounds like you kind of didn't even have like you did have a job, but it sounds like you got started in the entrepreneurial world pretty young. Like you were able, I mean, maybe part of it's luck. I hope, you know, that's part of the game too.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that really helped me out was like, I was still living at home with my parents during college. You know, I saved maybe $7,000 to $9,000 I had, and I moved and I paid $750 a month for rent. So I had about 7 months, 8 months of rent money. And what I told myself was like, yo, if I can't make $3,000 a month in 8 months, I should probably go jump off a bridge. So that was kind of my context. I'm like, all right, like that's pretty sad if I can't pull.
Are you saying knowing what you know? Like why do you say that? Because there's a lot of people that can't do that, dude. You just believed in yourself that much.
But I just believed in myself. I was like, dude, if I can't make $3,000 a month in 8 months, like I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do with myself. So it was just this thing where I was like, dude, like I already knew how to get clients though. And that was the thing, dude. I think the biggest thing that beats the leverage is getting the first win.
Oh.
Like once you get that first win, dude, you momentum with a snowball effect. And like I had those 10 to 15 clients. And dude, when I left New York, half of them left because they were like, yo, we don't want to pay you because you're not here anymore. You're not in person. And I was like, oh shit, dude, like half my income was gone. So it was tough, dude. That was a hard part. I'm not going to lie. And like, I had to figure out other ways to make money. So I would just door knock local businesses in Oviedo, Florida, which is by Orlando. And that's all I did for weeks on weeks. And I did like a free website offer. And my offer was, hey, I'm just going to build your website for free and like redo it. And what I was doing was, dude, and I didn't have much money. So I went on Fiverr and I bought $100 gigs from people. And I was like, yo, go read this person's website. So I was paying $100 just for the fucking hope and pray that they were going to sign up. Like I was just spending that money just to hope and just be like, oh shit, I hope they freaking pay me $500 a month once I pitch them. So I was just basically putting my money where my mouth was and just hoping. Also, dude, it was a little bit easier for me because like my parents are very loving. Like if anything ever went south, dude, like they would let me stay. You know, like they would let me get myself back on my feet. And yeah, that is an advantage, I guess. But I still didn't think about that because that's the thing though, is I didn't want to ever go back home and look my parents in the face and be like, yo, I fucking failed. That would be terrible. So that did help me. Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate you being candid about it too. And also living frugally. Like to do that, that's kind of what it takes, especially in the beginning. But
you also mentioned you had 3 different jobs at multiple times in your life too. So you know how to grind. And you also talked about living in the beginning of the podcast. You were talking about living by yourself and grinding on the weekends every single day, not just Monday through Friday. And like you talk the difference between employee mindset versus entrepreneurial mindset. So I appreciate where you're coming from. And I think I think to maybe make it a little bit easier for people to visualize, like let's just take maybe us for an example, or someone in the real estate space. I know you work with a couple different guys, but like we've built, say we're at that place where we're not strapped for the $3,000. We have the money in the bank. We can take our wives and girlfriends out. We're comfortable. We have the W-2 jobs, but we're looking to take the next step, right? Like we built this podcast. We've built have some investment properties together. We've done some other ventures, right? And we're trying to like tie this whole thing in a bow, right? Where we create content. People come to us for advice on real estate. They want to get involved. They want to come on the podcast. They know we have a platform. And for us, we can take it in a bunch of different ways, right? Like, do we build an educational platform? Do we build a coaching platform? Do we write a book? Do we, just continually like provide deals that we've come across that people can jump in with us and things? There's so many different lanes, dude. And it's going through our brain every day. It's like what's going to be most lucrative, but also what's going to be the most fulfilling
and fun.
And
like that's
fun. Yeah, fulfilling, fun. And then what could take over your W-2 job? So I know it's a lot there, right? But you've worked with guys that are like 5, 6, 7, 8 steps beyond us. I'm just curious on like, there's people listening to our show that are in the same kind of wheelhouse we are. What would you tell them based on your knowledge of paid ads, like how to start, where to like build your funnel? We don't have a funnel, like it's like we're kind of starting from scratch, sure as other people too.
So biggest thing I would say too is like, if you still have a W-2, you have to look at the time horizon. Like if you guys, like how many podcasts do you guys do a day?
Podcasts a day?
Yeah.
We release one a week, and we've only been on.
So how many plays? Like, dude, I always do math when I look at anything. So like, how many plays do you get a month?
We are anywhere between 4,000 and 10,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna pull up my fun ass calculator. Dude, this is how I did everything in my life. I just use numbers because I'd rather use numbers than have an emotion. So let's just say like 4,000. You release one a week. That's 4 a month. There's still 27 days left. So let's say you did one a day. That means you would get, what is that, 27 times another, well, no, it's one. Basically, it's 4 times like 7. So you're going to get 28,000 to 32,000 plays a month. So if you get
you think that it would actually convert that way based on, my thought would be like, there's so many damn podcasts to listen to, like people would actually listen to, like, would that attrition be a thing?
I think it's all about getting more out there. I think quantity is a massive piece that people misunderstand, is like quality is cool, but if you're like not getting as many plays as you'd like, there's no loss in doing more. There's never a loss in doing more. It's the same thing with traffic. Like, let's say I was making money spending $4,000 a month. I'm probably going to make more if I spend $10,000 a month. I'm probably going to make more if I spend $28,000 a month. It's the same thing. It's like, if there's more eyeballs, then I would honestly, dude, I would do 2 things. I would push people into your deals, because then you could actually build a network around what you're doing, and you could basically have affiliates underneath you giving you slight money that would replace your W-2 every month. Like, let's say you brought one deal to the table every week. Okay. Average wholesale deal is going to be $15,000 to $30,000. So let's say you brought deals to people, they close them for you, and you take 20% of the deal. You're still going to make $3,000. If you made $3,000 a week every single week, would that replace your W-2 income? I don't know, but hopefully, $12,000 a month would definitely be able to suffice most W-2 incomes. That's the way I look at numbers, dude. I'm just like, hey, if I do this thing X amount of times, like we started seeing on Instagram, doing more podcasts. When I was doing one podcast a week, I did about like 700,000 profile visits on my Instagram. Now I do like over 1.3 million because I do 3 podcasts a week. So I get about 1.3 million profile visits a month. Every 90 days, I get 14 million impressions, and that's including ad spend. So when I started getting more reach, like double the amount of reach, my private client base went from 4 clients to 9. And those are 4 clients to 9. That's $200,000 a month in private clients. So I did the math, and I just simply pulled levers like a calculator. That's how I do all my decisions. Like, whenever I get asked questions like that, I just pull out a calculator, and people call me a nerd for it, but I'm like, bro, I'd rather trust a calculator than my fucking emotion. So
yeah, when you say when you do podcasts, what you're talking about is going on other people's podcasts, correct?
Yeah, look, right now we're doing the event tour, so we do 1 event a week, and then between those days, like right now it's Monday. Tomorrow I got to fly to Austin because I'm doing 2 podcasts in Austin. One is at a party, one's at a private studio, and then after that I fly to Nashville, 2 more podcasts. Then I fly to Atlanta, 1 podcast. Then I fly back to Florida on Friday. And then when I fly back to Florida on Friday, I got to drive to Jacksonville because we have our next event. And I'm just doing podcasts in between the events. So I'm just flying every freaking 2 days.
It's funny you say that because your assistant is like, Jason's going to come to you. And we're like, we've never done an in-person podcast, candidly, just because we always do them over Zoom. So I'm like, oh, he's like getting after it. He's literally flying everywhere. Well, and we got asked to go to San Diego to do one. And we were like, just haven't fit it in yet. But it's a great point.
So I think it's a great point. And I think we know enough people in the industry when we get on the right podcast, it's going to have a lot of eyeballs on our page. And I think about all the posts we put out, and like, dude, every single day we put out a post, and I know you said quantity is there and you got to run the numbers, but for us, I'm like, we don't have at the moment like like a funnel system or anything. When people come in, it's like, dude, what's the point of us even doing the podcast? What's the point of us even doing the Instagram post? Because it's not pulling anyone in, keeping them in our ecosystem. They're just like, hey, saw it, cool, thanks. Maybe I'll stay, maybe I'll leave, and like I'm on to the next. So that's the real thing I think a lot of people struggle with. And it's like, you can Jimmy rig it yourself, right? And like, look how to build a funnel and like go to ClickFunnels and pay for them to put something on your website. So being that there's so many levers and so many different things, like how do you recommend people build that funnel? Or like, even for us, is like, is there one, it's not like one size fits all, is it? Or can you kind of start from the bottom?
Yeah, the thing too is that a lot of people who are first getting into the marketing game, they try to find somebody who has like that proven template or like that proven thing that's like worked for other people. And the problem is that it's not going to be that way because everybody's got a different brand, everybody's got different messaging or a different copy. What I've also learned in the marketing space is that it's not really about the funnel. The funnel is this misconstrued term because it's sexy and it's quick. The most important question is actually, what is your offer? And people miss that because if you don't have an irresistible offer, it doesn't matter what your landing page looks like. Like the landing page will sell itself if your offer is good. So like, for example, right, at our events, we qualify business owners to come in person. Now on the phones, we can't offer this kind of guarantee because we just don't know enough about them, but we get to spend 2 days with business owners and we know if they would qualify. At the events, we do this thing where they buy a package and they get an ROI guarantee and $5K on top if they don't get a return on their investment. It's a sexy offer. And if they take the offer, they get lunch with me on day 2. They get us to record their ads day 3. They get a spot on my podcast. We fly them in for a one-on-one session with me at our conference room. Like, it's a sexy offer. That is the power of what having a good offer is. My landing page doesn't matter. If I just put that on the top of my landing page, I'm going to get people to opt in anyway. So the whole funnel idea is actually simple sells. And we've been told, because we have people who are selling us stuff that's like really high price. Like, let's say someone came to you and was like, yeah, a funnel's 10 grand. Well, here's the problem. Unless they're an all-star copywriter and they know good offers and they're able to hash out your sales process, paying 10 grand for a funnel ain't going to do anybody any good. What I would actually do is I would actually find out what my offer is, and then I would pay a copywriter 2 to 5 grand to write the page for me. Then I can take that copy and then I can go pay someone $100 to build a funnel. Like, the thing that we think is the most important is actually the cheapest. An ad, for example, right? Dude, I pay my graphics guy $500 a month to create image ads for me. They're not supposed to be expensive. The offer and the copy is what sells. The creative just sells a click. The creative is not this thing that we put on a pedestal, right? Like, let's say you have a really cool commercial. Like, if you're going to have a really cool commercial, if your offer is shit, no one cares anyway. Like, I've ran a bunch of ads online, and the ones that have really cool quality but don't have a great offer, it doesn't really do that much better than a really good image with a sexy offer. And it's this whole correlation between marketing and sales. Like, people are like, oh, what's more important? Dude, if you're not good at sales, you better have a good offer, a really good funnel, and a good sales process so that you don't have to be good at sales. But if your offer has no guarantee and there's like no risk, like if there's risk, and it's this hard niche, you got to be real fucking good at sales to get it to convert because your marketing has a lot of friction.
So how does someone come up with a good offer? And I know that's basic, but like, for me, I'm always thinking like, do you hire an agency to work with you in your brand, right? Or is that what you guys currently do? And you like dissect a brand and you say, hey, this is the route we should go. Like, for example, like say we just can't crack it. We're like, dude, we don't know what the fuck to put out. We have a lot of different ideas. Do you take a brand like us or a business and just say, hey, walk me through everything that you have. Here's what I would do. Here's this, here's the price. Or is there, you basically, for us, we got to go find different lanes of people to put this together?
I mean, 2 things I would say is if I'm coming up with an offer, I'm thinking about what you guys do with the least amount of effort that provides the most amount of results. So if you have access to deals that other people don't have access to, then that's your access angle. there's two things in marketing that you should be selling, which is status and access. Those two things sell very, very well. So I would do something maybe like, hey, join my free Facebook group and I'll send you deals every week and we'll do one group call a week. And what you're doing on the group calls is just selling, right? Or you're having a VA message them in the Facebook group and like get them on a call and sell them something more high ticket like mentorship. Second angle is a book funnel, but the book funnel has got to be really sexy. Or third is a low ticket product. Like, hey, here's how you're going to close your next wholesale deal in the next 7 days. I'm going to give you the exact contracts, videos, lead gen source, cold call script, all that shit to close. Like, those are 3 ways that you would be able to do that. A fourth one could be an event. Events are very lucrative. ROASs on events are very, very good for us and other people in whatever space they're in, especially real estate investors, because I work with a ton of them. And I can tell you this from fact, like, events are stupid profitable, like stupid.
So what do you rent? Just rent out a space and basically put an agenda together that walks through what? You know what I mean? Like, is it just is it the networking aspect, or is it what am I getting out of this thing for showing up?
So, like, for example, we will run like a 2-day event where we get 100 business owners in a room, and then we say, hey, like, it's called Scale Your Ads. And we will teach them like about offers and ads and landing pages and KPIs. We go through a bunch of sections. We do sales role play, hot seats. We go through all the complex things as far as running these 4 things are correlated. And then at the end, we're just like, hey, do you not want to do this shit yourself? Are you overwhelmed? Just let us do it for you. And that's it. Like, that's all we're doing. We're providing value. Like, the shit I talk about is very valuable. It's just that people are too overwhelmed or they don't know how to do it themselves. And then they're just like, hey, I give up. This is too hard. Just do it for me and I'll pay you. And that's usually where it comes from. Like, dude, you could tell somebody, hey, here's how you're going to close your first wholesale deal this weekend if you come to my event. It's 2 days. Sick. You call a Marriott and you're like, hey, I need a room for 50 to 100 people. Cool. They're going to charge you $2,500 a day. You're going to go in. You're $5,000 in plus 25% service fee. You're $6,500 in. You might have to get coffee. You're $7,000 in. You got to run ads. You're $15,000 in then to get people in the room. $15,000, to be honest, is not a lot to run an event. I have friends who spend $150,000 to $500,000 on events, and like, they'll get 500 people in a room and they'll sell 50K packages, and all they need is 9 people out of 500 to buy. It's not hard. So it's like, if you can't sell 9 people in a room out of 500, then you were basically like, fucking drooling the whole time. Like, it's just not that hard. So there's what events do, it's very low-hanging fruit for business owners if you have a skill set that you want to teach people about. Or you could run a free training funnel. Like, here's the thing I tell people is, if you're trying to get that right funnel, dude, you need to first hire somebody who knows how to create offers, okay? And then you find a copywriter who's very good to write it. And that's what I would do. Then after that, dude, the ads and all that shit, I'm going to be honest, man, ads are not that hard. It's not. Like, dude, running ads is simple. But getting people to convert and selling on the phone and providing products and fulfilling and ascension and personnel and people and systems, that's the hard shit. And people just don't know how to do that. And those are things that, like, we can't really teach you. You have to actually, like, spend, like, those things alone, just FYI, are the most expensive things that I pay for in a business. Like, for personnel, people, systems, and ops manager, dude, I'm spending at least $75,000 to $100,000 a month just on people and personnel and leadership. The shit's expensive. And it's this thing where if you don't have that backbone in the business and the foundation, you can't predictably scale and grow, because people will fall off. Then there needs to be someone to hire. There needs to be a hiring funnel, qualification, incentives, growth plan, fucking all this crap. Like, there's just all these things that happen in a business, and there's breakpoints. And when I look at marketing, dude, it's literally like, what is my offer? Like, what do I do with the least amount of money and the least amount of effort that makes it the most amount of results? And how can I do that for other people? And what do I package it in? And that's it. That's all I look at.
Very cool. I'm very curious about your business, actually, and like your goals with it, because we talked pre-show, and there's some people that you work with, and then it's kind of led you to higher profile people, and then that person, especially because your social media presence, I'm sure has led you to even higher profile, like the whole thing. I'm curious, where do you see yourself in your business in the next 3 to 5 years? And like, do you have a goal, a revenue number that you're trying to get to, or just like, what does it look like for you?
So right now, we do a little bit over 8 figures a year. We're running events and it's doing really well. But the one thing that we're seeing right now is like, we've hit a break point. So like, there's breakpoints in businesses where like 1 to 3 million is product market fit. So like, do people actually want what you're selling? 3 to 7 million is people, and 7 to 12 million is systems. And right now we're getting to that point where we have leadership in place and people in place, but like our systems are just having a little bit of breakage right now. And I think it's something that we need to focus on a lot more because we're bringing on so many clients, and we just built out a hiring funnel. Like a lot of people focus on acquisition, building a funnel for acquisition. We now have a funnel for just hiring. So we built a funnel and spend money to go spend more money. And like, it's just this thing where I never thought about that stuff, and I'm getting exposed to these things. And I'm like, okay, like I have to write a funnel so I can spend more money. What the hell is that? So it's like a weird thing.
Do you feel like there's a fit for your personality and like in terms of the size of your business? And the reason why I asked the question is because like you can keep growing and growing and growing, but if you're not making more money, if it's not profitable at 20 million versus 10, whatever it is, like you might as well find your niche. But that's also goes against the entrepreneurial mindset of like just grow. I'm curious, do you think that there's like a place for you to be like, if I can get to this number with this lifestyle that I can live and like the what I can provide, I feel like it's a good place for me to be?
I think like once we get to 25 to 50 a year, I think we'll be at a place where we will have like a big piece of the market. And honestly, like I don't really want to depend too much on that income. I want to actually build more brand because because I recently left like Wojo Media as the CEO. I'm the owner 100%, but I don't run the company anymore. So I found a CEO to take over, and now I'm just doing Scale Your Ads, which is the events. I also have a book coming out in the next month, and like I'm doing things that are brand based. So it is this thing where like in the next year or two, like I want to be able to go on speaking engagements and get paid 25, 50 grand and just pocket that money and let that feed my lifestyle and things that I want to do. I still want to travel. I still want to see the world. I still got to find a wife and a girlfriend or whatever. I still need to figure out that shit. I'm 26, and the one curse that I think that I did have was that I made a lot of money too young, and I have no idea what the fuck to do with it. So it's this thing where I don't know what is going on, and dude, it's just tough. Like there's a big quote that I always live by, which is when you say yes to something, you say no to something else. And like I feel like for the last 8 years of my life, I said yes to like figuring out my financial stuff and like really like pushing a lot of relationships like aside and just figuring out like what I wanted to do with my path and purpose. And now that I have like, yeah, I'm not the richest person in the world, but like I don't need to work anymore. So it's like, what the fuck do I do with my time? Do I write more books? Do I go color? I don't freaking know what to do.
It's such a unique problem to have though, man. I appreciate you speaking this way about it because it's like, I can tell. And dude, I got you wrong. I'm not going to lie. I am glad we're having this conversation because on social, like I'm like looking at some of these videos. I'm like, is he an ass or no?
You were pissed about what?
I was like,
Holocaust one?
Oh no, I wasn't pissed about it. I just looked at it and I was like, I wonder if he's a dickhead, and he's not. So it's like, it's so funny.
Like, but that's one of the other tips that I wanted to bring up is like, dude, controversy sells.
I know for sure.
Like, dude,
I don't like to be controversial. I don't think you do either.
No.
If I don't make, like, dude, here's a huge thing that happened in our business was, I don't know if you guys saw this video, but I made a video about the gym probably like a year ago.
Dude, that was what I commented on. That was how we linked up. Because I was like, you said, well, go ahead. Tell everyone what you said, because I think it's
so basically, I was like, hey, like if you don't make 10 grand a month and you go to the gym, like that's why you're poor. Because you spend all this time in the gym and you don't make any fucking money. And like, dude, it pissed so many people off, dude. Like that, it got over 800 million views in like 4 weeks. It was one of the most viral videos on the internet back in February of last year. And like, dude, it just went all over the place and people still post it the very day. And it was something where like, dude, here's the thing though, bro. It's like, dude, I don't say don't go to the gym in the video. It's headline culture. I say if you go to the gym and you're broke, it's because you go to the gym. Like people took that and they swung it. They're like, oh. The other thing was, the other video that I made was, I fucking love my marketing mind. I was like, hey, if you have a Toyota Corolla and I'm in my McLaren, I'll probably take your girlfriend, which is so true, bro. There's no way that you're going to keep your girl if there's no, well, it's like, dude, I made the video because I know how to conflict two sides. It's just like the presidents, bro. Everybody's got two sides. If you vote towards one or against another, it crushes. So that's a great way to get a lot of attention and like curiosity. And our business doubled after that video. So people were like, oh, you're going to lose clients and all this. Like, bro, we made so much money from that damn video. It was ridiculous.
I got one, and we can cut it if we're not able to keep it on here. But what do you think of the Chris Crone bed videos with his wife? Because I think he's trying to do that same exact shit, dude.
Dude, I love it. I think it's hilarious because people are like, what's like, dude, people comment like, oh, he's got to do that to get views. And I'm like, bro, like, the other thing that's funny about it is that he knows what works. And my friend Ryan McGinn actually does his videos. He lives in St. Pete with me over here. And he does all Chris's personal brand content. All that. Like, do we know what gets views? Like, if he was just standing against a bland wall, like, it's not going to get views.
Nope.
It doesn't matter.
He's literally in bed, like, having a pillow talk.
With a meal.
with a full meal. Yeah. I some of the topics are so wild. But I don't know. It does get clicks and views, and it's the controversy, right? And the curiosity. Then it's got a million comments, and then the algorithm keeps pushing it out. And so, in turn, someone is going to come across that actually wants to be a real estate investor, right? Or wants to buy Chris's book, and they get in the funnel, and then they get the sales call. So, like, I get it. I get it. It's it's interesting because
we're now in this new world that we have never been in, and we don't have a ton of followers, do we? Have like 35,000 followers, but it's still in a realm where, like, I know that if we do something a certain way, it's going to get more attention, and it's almost like against why we started in a way. So it's kind of hard for me because I'm like, I don't want to put something out that just gets attention. Like, that doesn't really. But then,
do you want to leave your W-2 job?
I know, dude.
Like,
it's a wild world, dude. It's a wild world. But anyway, I'm glad that we got to have this conversation because it's funny to get to see the person behind the million followers and just to see how your mind actually thinks. It's pretty cool stuff. Do you have anything else before we wrap?
I'm trying to think. I don't want to leave anything off the table here because this is a super interesting conversation.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. I know you work with a lot of real estate investors, and you mentioned I don't know if you can go into the funnel systems that you put together. You don't have to mention names, but you mentioned it pre-recording, and I think it was some valuable information. But like, you talked about a bunch of different funnels. Like, one was a book one was a small lead magnet. Can you just touch on those for people that are listening, just to give them an idea of what other people are doing out there in our niche?
Yeah. So a big thing with real estate investors, and a couple names is like Chris Cron, Ryan Pineda, Jamil Damji, Carlos Reyes, all these guys I work with. And we do a lot of like no lead magnet book funnel, or we do a low ticket digital product, or we do free training to event ticket sale. And there's a reason why we do those kind of funnels. Some of them are injected to increase the revenue, not just on the back end, but also due to the email list. A lot of people miss that mark because they're like, oh, like, why would I want to run a certain funnel if I'm getting a lot of leads, but it's like one day a week? Like the free training funnels, we'll get someone to sign up for $4 on an ad. What people don't realize is that that's an email that we get to put in our ESP, our email service provider. We get to lock that email in and we get to grow our list. Also, if they show up or not, which 25% of them will show up, I'm paying $16 for someone to show up. Like, it's a very lethal thing when done correctly. So that's the first kind. The second one is the book funnel, where personally, like, book funnels do well because people like to buy a book but not read it. So basically, it's like this bullshit weird thing. Like, it's interesting, but book funnels, like, if you sell a digital product, yes, it does well, but more quantity. A book funnel, you pay a little bit more for a customer, but it's like physical, like it's in their hand. So when they get it in their house, they can't just like throw the shit in the garbage. It's not like something you can just throw in the trash in your email inbox. You have to actually like pick it up and hold it. It's a tangible thing that people get an emotion to. So like that is another type of funnel. And then we do low ticket digital products. So like those are where we're giving a mini course away for $17, $27 to where we're getting a self-liquidating funnel, just like a book funnel is. It's self-liquidating. So if we spend $1,000 a day, we get $800 back. I'm getting $1,000 in ad spend for $200. I'm basically getting an 80% off discount. Plus, I'm able to write off that $1,000 on my taxes. So that's where it becomes really lethal. Like, there's no loss in spending money on ads as long as you get a decently back ROAS. Like, no, you don't need a 10 ROAS. Like, you could break even and it's basically free, and you get the write-off, and you get the attention, and you get the reach, and you get the traffic, and you get the clicks, and you get the emails, and you get the buyers. So it's like a lot of people don't want to spend money on ads, but they could spend money on ads and they could spend money for free if they simply had a self-liquidating funnel.
That's interesting. The low ticket item. I think it was like the mini course. So you're basically saying
or like an ebook or something, right?
Yeah, like you lose. Technically, you're losing 20% if you're on the numbers. It's paying $1,000, you're getting back $800, but you're getting the traffic, you're getting the leads, you get people into your funnel. Are you saying the benefit is to build that email list and then convert them into a higher ticket sale down the line?
Yeah, down the line. Or you can just get a bunch of people off that $1,000 a day in ad spend, and they buy, and you call them in 5 minutes, and you're like, hey, why'd you buy the ebook? Yeah, so right now I'm trying to get real estate investing. Like, I'm trying to figure out what wholesaling is. Oh, well, we have a free Facebook group for that. I'll send you the link to it. But besides that, like, what are your goals in the next 6 months? And now you're in a sales call, and now you're selling them shit. So it's like, it's something where they're financially committed, because what's the one thing that you now have that they kind of are low-key afraid of? You have their credit card number because they spent money with you. That's why they have to answer the phone. So it's like, they can't just do a free lead magnet. You have their email, they don't care, but you got their credit card on file. So now they're a little bit more attached, and they have to answer the phone.
2 parts on that. One, I think that a lot of people are missing is the sales call. I think a lot of people just put stuff out there and they just like, okay, hopefully someone buys this, and they keep going. But like, building the relationship is the key part to keep them coming back. And that's what I'm kind of hearing, like reading between the lines here. So 2 parts on that. Do you definitely, at this point have a sales team, but for people that are just starting out, like if it's just Corey and I, like we would essentially build out this course. First part of the question is, for the course, do you guys help people build these out? Like, do you film and like, or give like a curriculum, or are you just strictly on the ads? And once it's done, you guys you master that?
So the recording, I mean, it depends on budget, but like I can fly somebody in to record videos for you. We have ad creative packages that will give you ad creatives, and we can film course videos. And it starts at like $39.97. So I would fly in one of our videographers, and we do that. The second thing is that, yes, we focus on the offer side, the copy side. We focus on the funnels. We do all the marketing stuff done for you, but we don't like actually create the members area for the course, because technically we're not allowed to if it's proprietary info, because that's technically owned by you. So like, that's where you'd have to actually, a lot of people don't do this, which is technically illegal, but like those are proprietary rights to you and intellectual property. If I were to create your members area, login, and do all that stuff, technically I'm not allowed to. People don't realize that. So you have to put that information in yourself.
Sure.
Yeah. So then, like we focus a lot on just like running the paid traffic to it, building the copy around it, building the offer around it. What do the upsells look like? What do the downsells look like? Also, man, what's crazy is that like when you make a low ticket product, this is the funniest part, is that, dude, we don't film videos for our low-ticket products. All my low-ticket products are a 1-page Google document. That's all it is. Yeah, it took me 2 hours to make my Google Docs. That's all I do. I just give it to them with Loom links. I don't record professional videos. Like, we have an offer right now called the Low-Ticket Starter Kit, and a lot of people buy it organically, and it just teaches you how to get a low-ticket product off the ground. And it's $27. You buy it, and you get a 6-page Google document, and you just go through it, and people get results with it because it's valuable. It depends on what's inside.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
A lot of people build courses, and they're like, oh, it's got to be like 1080p quality. Dude, if you don't have to spend $5,000 on a videographer, don't spend $5,000. Just sit there and go, okay, how do I give someone a quick win with this $27 course? All right, cool. Step 1, go to this website. Step 2, here's the filters you put in to find wholesale deals. Step 3, use my contract template. Step 4, here's how you fill it in. Step 5, here's how you send it. Step 6, here's my cold call script. Step 7, like, just give them the simple shit.
The framework,
like, Dude, it's simple to give them a win. Because simple sells. If you make a complicated video course, you now create work and friction. And most people don't even know how to fucking drool correctly. So it's this thing where you're asking people who don't know how to do any work or who are lazy to do work and not be lazy. You're selling behavioral change. So I actually condense all my low-ticket products down to a couple-page Google Doc to where anybody who has a brain cell can use it, because you want to be able to give them a win.
Right. It's only $27. Yeah. So let me ask you this. When you go out and try to source businesses, at this point, I'd imagine you can be picky, which is nice, and you build your way up there. Who do you typically work with? Can someone like 2 guys like us just come off the street and say, hey, dude, what's your starting point? What's your starting package? Or is it based off an event? Like, how do you start working with you specifically if people are interested?
So first, like, I would tell them to go on Instagram at the Jason Wojo. They can click the first link in my bio, and they can see like all my case studies, and they can book a demo call to see if they're a good fit. But like, qualifications would be this. You're making at least $10,000 a month, personally and business, or just business wise. You're able to spend $3,000 a month on ads. And you're willing to spend another $3,000 on a service fee, $3,000 to $4,000. and you want to be able to get an entire marketing system built out for you. Like you know what you want to sell. You know that you have this back-end product. You know that you can have people, like for you guys, example, you got to have people partner with your deals. You know, you get people to do all those things. Like, you don't want to go to an agency or a marketing partner and be like, yeah, like we have no fucking clue what we're doing. Because then that's what creates a bad name in the agency space, which is business owners will go to an agency and they have nothing to sell. They're just like, yeah, like, fuck it. I don't even know what I'm selling, but like, just figure it out for me. That's where people throw this word out there calling like all ad agencies are a scam. Actually, we're not. We just got a client who decided to throw money at us because they either lied to us on the sales call, which has happened in the past. We have clients who come on calls and they're like, yeah, I'm ready. Like, I have a website, I have all this. And then they pay us, and then they come on the onboarding call and they're like, yeah, so my Facebook's banned. This is fucked up. And then now we're dealing with buyer's remorse and a refund. And then we can't help them. So it's like, that's the biggest thing I see in the niche. But like, dude, it's about having a good offer. Like, if you know that, also, you want to make sure you're profitable while you're spending. So like, what is it that you're offering? Like, yeah, dude, a book is cool. But what if you got 100 people every week to join a free training and you sold a $997 course on how to wholesale, and then you had like a $5,000 offer where they joined your partner community and you sent them deals? I don't know about you, but the lowest hanging fruit is not a book funnel. I think a free training funnel is a lot more easier because you have 30,000 followers. You don't have 300 followers and 3 posts on your Instagram. You have proof. So I would run a free training funnel, build an email list, get people on these calls. At the least, they join a Facebook group. At the least, you still have them in your database. You still have them in a Facebook group. You have 1 call a week in the Facebook group. You do 1 free training a week. You build your list with 200 people a week, and you actually start selling shit on the free trainings. That's the easiest way to really make money, is by doing free trainings or running events. Those are the 2 lowest hanging fruits. But for me to sit here and be like, yeah, man, run a low ticket funnel. To be honest, that sounds sexy, but like, you're going to have to spend a lot more money on ads because you have to be able to get more data faster because you're selling an actual product. So then, the other thing is like running sales calls. Okay, yeah, you could run lead gen to a sales call, but like, what the fuck are we selling? So that's where like we need to do a lead qualification. We have to have like an actual video for people to watch. We have to have a video on our before call page. All these things have to align in the ecosystem for it to make sense. So I think low-hanging fruit for anybody is a free training as long as they know what the hell they're talking about and they're not selling pixie dust. So that's what I would honestly say. Yeah.
Very cool. This has been awesome, man. It's really insightful, and like we kind of got like a free little masterclass there too. But there's a lot of people that are listening that might be in a similar position to us that could use your services. So I hope people reach out. The proof is in, all the knowledge that you drop. So we appreciate you coming on. If people want to get in touch with you, you mentioned your Instagram. Is that the best way for people to go and reach out to you?
Yeah, if they go just to my Instagram, they click the first link in my bio, they can book a call. Also, if they want to come to one of my events, they just go to officialjasonwojo.com and they can see all the dates on the bottom of the page. I'll probably come to a city near you. And that's really it. Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for tuning in this week to the Weekly Juice Podcast. If you liked what you heard, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, subscribe, and share with friends. The more ratings we get, the more ears we'll get on our show, and in turn, we'll be able to provide you with more high-quality guests. You can also find us on Instagram at Weekly Juice Pod, where we post daily tips and tricks and document our own journey towards financial freedom. Make sure to tune in every Wednesday to get your weekly juice.